My people, welcome back to the Amos Perspective. Today we are talking about something that touches business, pride, travel, and pure national strategy: Nigeria's aviation sector. Because right now, in 2026, we are at a reset point. Not small reset, a real one. The kind that can either become a renaissance or become another missed opportunity. And the big question is simple. Can Lagos, Murtala Muhammed International Airport, MMIA, become the true gateway of West and Central Africa? Or will smaller hubs keep collecting our passengers, our money, and our respect? Let's get into it. My people, aviation is not just planes. Aviation is policy. Aviation is foreign exchange. Aviation is maintenance. Aviation is passenger experience. Aviation is time. And Nigeria has been flying with heavy turbulence. Growth has been unstable. Costs keep rising. Airlines are earning in naira, but paying in dollars for maintenance, insurance, spare parts, and leasing. Then add interest rates. Some airlines borrow at punishing rates, while competitors elsewhere borrow at single digits. So you are running a marathon with concrete in your shoes. And look at costs. Fuel alone can swallow almost half of operating cost, nearly half. So when Jet A1 rises, everything rises. Ticket prices rise, passenger numbers drop, the middle class squeezes, and when passenger traffic drops, the entire system feels it. Now here is where it becomes painful. Aviation is a volume game. You need steady flow, you need predictability. But Nigeria has been doing aviation like emergency response, always reacting, rarely building the machine. Let me tell you one issue that sounds small until you understand it. Some airports cannot support reliable night operations the way a serious modern network demands. That shrinks the useful operating window for aircraft. So your plane is expensive, your leasing clock is ticking, your maintenance cycle is ticking. But at night, the asset sits down. That is not just inconvenience, that is economics. And when your assets sit down, your unit cost goes up. Congestion rises during daylight. Delays multiply. Passengers get angry. Airlines bleed. So when we talk about building a hub, you cannot build a hub with airports that go to sleep early. Now, my people, let's talk about a hard truth. Some Nigerians are choosing to connect through smaller West African hubs instead of connecting through Lagos. Why? Because those hubs are running a system, a hub system, and the secret sauce is coordination. They run synchronized arrival waves and departure waves. Arrivals come in a tight window, then departures follow. That structure creates faster connections and predictable transfers. They are not doing chaos, they are doing choreography. And in many cases, they also have strong partnerships that bring technical know-how, operational discipline, and network access. Here is the lesson. Hub status is not just about shiny terminals. Hub status is a symbiotic relationship between a modern airport and a strong home-based carrier, backed by alliances that actually work. So the question for Lagos is not only, can we renovate? The question is, can we coordinate? Now, Lagos is not sleeping. Lagos is moving. There are serious plans to modernize and expand MMIA, improving passenger flow and upgrading key systems. But the most strategic part is this: a proper hub needs a smooth transit experience, a dedicated transfer corridor, airside movement that does not feel like punishment. Because if you cannot transfer passengers smoothly, you are not a hub. You are just a destination airport with stress. Also, during major renovation work, you need temporary solutions to avoid collapse and chaos. And beyond terminals, you need support infrastructure, apron space for more aircraft, better links between facilities, better passenger movement. My people, this is serious. But let me say this clearly. Infrastructure is necessary, but infrastructure alone is not sufficient, because airports do not become hubs by themselves. Airports become hubs when airlines build schedules that connect people, cities, and markets. A strong Nigerian carrier aiming at intra-Africa routes can change everything. But it has to do the basics well: reliability, on-time performance, clean scheduling, proper connections between domestic, regional, and international flights. And one underrated move is aligning regional operations so they connect properly into the bigger network. That is hub strategy. And partnerships matter too. When a local airline integrates into a bigger global network, it increases confidence. It becomes easier for passengers to buy one ticket. It becomes easier to check baggage through. It becomes easier to trust the journey. But again, it only works if the airport system supports it. If transfers are still painful, then the partnership becomes marketing, not momentum. Now let's touch the sensitive one. National carrier. Some people want it for pride. Some people fear it because of history. But one thing is clear. Africa is moving toward airline strength that is practical, not symbolic. And the consistent pattern is this. A hub needs a dominant airline or two that can push volume, structure schedules, and negotiate rights. And that brings us to policy. Because without smart bilateral agreements and without coordination across ministries, Nigerian carriers can get boxed out in foreign markets. So you can renovate the airport and still lose the game if policy is weak. Now, one of the biggest drains is maintenance. When airlines cannot maintain aircraft locally at the right standard, they spend huge sums offshore and lose aircraft time to long ferry flights and delays. Let me simplify it. If we fix local maintenance capacity, we reduce FX exposure. If we reduce FX exposure, airlines breathe. If airlines breathe, they can plan routes, improve reliability and grow. So maintenance, repair and overhaul, MRO is not an engineering side project. MRO is survival. MRO is competitiveness. Now let's talk about charges. One reason Nigerian air travel feels so expensive is the pile of fees, taxes and airport charges. So what happens? Demand shrinks. But the airport still needs money. So you increase charges again and you enter a vicious cycle. There is a smarter path. Build stronger non-ticket revenues. Retail, real estate, parking, advertising, airport city development. In simple terms, stop squeezing the traveler as your primary business model. Build commerce around the airport. Create revenue streams that do not punish movement. And this point is key. If Lagos wants to be a true hub, it must behave like a modern airport business, not a toll gate. Finally, technology. Traffic will rise. Manual processing cannot scale. Biometric ID systems can reduce queues, shorten connection times, and improve security. When airports digitize movement, passengers stop dreading the process. And when passenger experience changes, I mean preference changes. That is how hubs win, not by shouting, by working. Let me land this plane with 5 pillars. Pillar 1. Infrastructure upgrades at MMIA, but with a non-negotiable focus on smooth transit. Pillar 2. Policy that supports Nigerian carriers with smart route rights and serious regional integration strategy. Pillar 3. Local maintenance capability, so airlines stop bleeding FX and time. Pillar 4. Fiscal reform that reduces passenger burden and grows non-aeronautical revenue. Pillar 5. Biometric-led digital transformation to scale efficiency and cut congestion. That is the blueprint. But my people, blueprints are everywhere in Nigeria. Execution is rare. So here is my own Amos Perspective challenge. If we do this with transparency, consistency, and private sector discipline, Lagos can reclaim its rightful place as the mobility epicenter of Western Central Africa. If we do it with politics, policy flip-flops, and half measures, smaller hubs will keep collecting Nigerian passengers with a smile. My people, that is the episode. If you want Nigeria to win in trade, tourism, business travel, and regional integration, aviation is not optional. A functioning hub is power, and Lagos MMIA is not just an airport, it is a national lever. If you enjoyed this breakdown, share it with one person who travels often, one person in policy, or one person in business. Because this conversation is bigger than aviation. It is about systems. It is about competitiveness. It is about Nigeria choosing excellence over excuses. I remain your friend, Engineer Amos, of the Amos Perspective. Please share and comment. See you next time for another incisive episode.